Why did it take so long to get the first deal, do you think?
Not that smart of a guy. I bought bad data. So in the beginning, we literally, like, we probably wrote 20 to 30,000 handwritten letters, and it was like the yellow letter.
Wow.
Like, I want to pay cash.
Yeah.
And you do the little money symbol for the S in the cash.
Who taught that? Everybody was doing that
Dude,
8 years ago, and
I
it was
don't
like the
even
worst looking
know.
yellow letter with red ink. Looked like a ransom.
I think wholesaling ink is what maybe originally turned me on to it. Somebody on their podcast said, like, yeah, just do this. And for whatever reason, I took that advice.
Okay.
The data we bought it from a guy named Achute.
Okay.
And he was just like a referral from a guy that I knew in the real estate space. And I bought, I don't know, man, 10, 20,000 records.
Okay. What kind of records? Absentee owner or just whatever he thought was a good lead?
Yeah, I think it was probably absentee owned. I think it was I think I told him, like, give me a combination of like all your niche list stuff. Knowing what I now know, like all of the niche lists in our whole MSA is like 4,000 or 5,000 people, that might be tax delinquent or probates, divorce, inherited, whatever. And he gave me a list of like 30,000 records. Should have been a queue. Like it was just bulk data. Yeah. But yeah, we were mailing people and like hand stamping. Dude, my wife and I just hours and hours. Then we started paying people to do it. And it was just not, people were calling back and they're like, yeah, I sold that property like 12 years ago. I'm like, yes.
Oh, so it was really bad data.
Bad data.
Yeah.
Really bad. So, and then, I mean, that's what took me a long time. Have you ever seen that picture where it's like 2 levels and there's that guy like grinding with the pickaxe to get diamonds? Yes. That's just me. Like, I wasn't going to stop. I'm like, we're like 30 grand into this at this point. Like, I have to see that money back.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we're not stopping until we get a deal and figure out how to do it.
Right.
And I knew other people knew how to do it. Like, if somebody else had done it, I'm like, it's just a matter of time before we figure it out too. So.
It's not reinventing the wheel. It's been proven that you can do this.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I first paired up in the business with another guy. His name was Gents, and he was a wholesaler, and we had 1 rental at the time. And he did nothing about this like went the way it should have. We got his postcard, and it was like, hey, I want to buy your house. It was one of those pink like final notices, just the like ones that
a little bit more aggressive than is true.
Yes, very, very true. And he even put like the wrong phone number on it. So I had to like Google this guy, but he had a really unique last name. It was Kittemeyer. And so I Googled the guy and finally I like found him and I called him and I was like, hey, do you wholesale? And like a newer guy starting out, like that's kind of a like taboo question. Like you can hear him kind of pull back on the phone.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, why, what's up? And I'm like, no, like you're not in trouble. Like I want to learn how to wholesale. I've been trying to do it. What do you think if I like paid you money and you kind of walked me through it? And anyways, we ended up getting coffee and I got proof of concept with him on a couple deals, and then we had different visions for what we wanted to do. But
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being around somebody doing the business really helped you out.
100%.
Nice. Tell us the story about how you ended up getting the first deal then.
Yes, Penny Dennison. Once I paired up with Gents, we decided to try and do the cheapest method first, which this would have been 2020. And so bulk texting. That was before the writing was really on the wall. Like it was still kind of the Wild West. You could get away with it. And so we bulk texted all, I don't know, like 50,000 records for our area. And this gal, like 2 or 3 weeks later, after we sent the text, I literally remember verbatim the text. She just sent a text back that said, I'm ready to sell my house now. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
like,
you're
no
like,
way.
It's that easy?
Yeah, I'm like, no way. And I went to the gal's house and talked with her. And I think had just lost her mom and she quit her job. And she's like, I just want to go live with my sister in Seattle. Like, I'm out of here. And I was like, okay, this is a problem we can solve. And I gave her an offer and she's like, sold, it's done. And she literally just started crying and she gave me a hug.
Oh my gosh.
And she was like, you must be an angel. And dude, it was like, you could not have had a better thing. You could not have had a better first contract. Like, it was awesome. It just really helped you realize, like, you can be a light to those people when they need it. It's not for everybody, but when they need it, it's a breath of fresh air.
I remember starting, it was hard to imagine why somebody would want to sell their house for less than the market value.
Yeah.
It really is amazing. It's amazing how easy it is when you find somebody that truly wants to do that.
Yeah.
And I used to say, well, I still say I'm not your top dollar option, but
Mm,
I will be able to provide certainty, speed, and convenience.
yeah,
So if you want the top dollar, that's not me. I just want to let you know that.
yeah,
And when they bring you back in, then you know you're good to go.
totally.
And there's some people who are so rich, they don't want to mess with their rundown properties that are failed rental properties
Yeah,
because they're busy making money elsewhere.
yeah.
That was another mind blower for me too.
We just got a house under contract, or no, not a house, a piece of land under contract yesterday, and it's in Hamilton, Montana, like 4 hours from where we're at. This was a lead in our system that we dead leaded because it was so far out. And then we are doing our cash buyer calls. One of our dispo reps called a guy, and he's like, "Hey, I have this seller in Hamilton, Montana that like they're willing to sell this chunk of land. It's on a river. It's like 6 acres." And I've been telling my team for years, like, keep me in mind if a river property ever comes up because I want one. I don't want this one. But come to find out, we just got under contract for $105,000, and I called a realtor, and they're like, "That's a $400,000 to $500,000 piece of property all day. Like it will sell all day at that." And I'm like, "What is the backstory behind this? There's no way somebody's just willing to give that up." Looked them up. It's gal in California. They bought wanting to build it 20 years ago. It's quadrupled in value. She lives in a $4 million house now. She does not care. She wants rid of the property. Like it's not about the money for her. She just doesn't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. I was wondering, how did you go from one property to then 500 deals? And how long did that take?
I got my first deal. I literally remember getting that deal.
That's the seller.
Yeah.
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 Henry Butler was my first seller.
Was it? You never forget.
He was also very happy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great when the first person.
He was actually like, You're not tearing my house down? He was like surprised that I was going to renovate it.
Yeah. So that day when I got that contract, I went home and Trump was on the news and he's like, "The Chinese virus has hit, like close the borders." And I was like, holy cow, like we're going to force ourselves into recession. I thought it was going to be the worst thing. But it would have been right around like May. It was May 2020 when I got my first deal.
COVID was a good time for the business, I felt like.
100%. I thought it was going to crash
a lot
our
of
economy.
growth during that period.
Yeah. We were brand new. We were a baby at that, literally a baby business at that time. COVID hit, first contract, same day almost. And but I mean, we went from bulk texting. That got us a couple deals, and then I paid for this course to advertise on the radio. We went on the radio, changed markets. That was another big thing for us. So I'm from North Idaho, and we border Spokane, Washington. And I was just like, I'm gonna run my backyard. Like nobody wholesales, nobody flips in Kootenai County. Like we're gonna be that company. Well, in 9 months of doing that marketing, we got those 2 deals. We ended up getting another deal right after hers at the end of that 9 months.
Not a lot of deals for 9 months of radio marketing.
Horrible. The next month when we started, that was all texting and mail. We started radio. The next month into Spokane, we got 3 deals the next month.
Oh, so radio was very good. I misunderstood.
Radio was the gravy train when it was a gravy train. It has since tapered a lot. But yeah, we were on radio.
Why is that? Are less people listening since 4 years ago?
A lot more competitive.
Okay.
While COVID was great for the real estate industry and things like that, you remember how tight the job market was back then? Like you could not find people for $100,000 to do menial work. It was stupid. ZipRecruiter, Indeed, WiseHire, all those guys started buying up radio ads like crazy, and they drove our ad costs through the roof.
Oh, got it.
So our ROI inversely plummeted. But it took about a year for that to happen. And I'm not kidding when I say like radio in the beginning was like fish in a barrel. We were spending like $5,000 a month, and we were pulling 3 contracts with an average of $40,000 every single month.
Wow, that's great.
It was unbelievable.
Got to feel good about getting your $30,000 back from your initial marketing.
Yeah, I was pretty happy at that point.
Yeah.
So, and then from there, I mean, we've done PPC, mail, TV, dude, everything. We bought at auctions from realtors. I mean, we send like 80,000 pieces of mail right now. That's what we're bumping to this month. So just mass media, pretty much. We quit texting, quit cold calling, all that stuff. So,
Why did you quit cold calling? I get the texting because it just stopped going through.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple. There's spam filters. It just doesn't go through anymore.
I've kind of always related it to like, we're traveling right now. We're in Dallas. Like if you broke your leg right now, you're going to be jumping on Google and like, where's the nearest hospital? Oh, there's 3 in the area. What has the highest rating? Things like that. it's a very different conversation you have with that doctor as opposed to him calling you every other week and he's like, hey, did you break your leg yet? Like, David, have you sprained anything yet? Like, do you need to come in yet? It's just a different conversation you have with the seller. Like, I really feel like when they approach you, you can really help solve their problem. When it's that mass like cold call thing, I just feel like the conversation quality, a lot harder to retain employees. I didn't enjoy that type of conversation with people. I felt like I was harassing people. I love inbound because you have what they need, and the conversations and the appointments, they just are awesome. I love them. It's a way different seller interaction than outbound.
Yeah, most of my deals have been from mail.
Yeah.
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 Why do you think that the industry has favored cold calling so much?
It's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And you could hire 30 people in the Philippines to canvas all of Atlanta, Georgia for 10 grand a month or whatever it would be, but just cheap. And in the beginning, I think people want to dabble with what's cheap because it's safer.
Yeah.
You didn't dump 30 grand into it with nothing in return. It's like, I just spent $2,000 this month for cold callers.
Right.
It's a lot less skin in the game, I think.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And doctors, though, I mean, why aren't they calling about your leg?
Right? It transcends all industries, except car warranties. They will still call you.
They will.
Yeah.
So what mindset have you developed, do you think, that made you be successful? You've talked about just not giving up and being a little bit stubborn, which is kind of a nice mindset because you know other people did it. Is there any other mindsets you've developed that have made you successful?
Yeah, we actually, as we're going through, we have a consulting company, Sharper Process, that you might work with, or a ton of the people in our space work with. And one of the things that's been cool is they're really big on mission, vision, values.
You've hired them, or you're a part owner?
No, I've hired them. They do consulting with us. And our mission and vision, I've always kind of heard that you are married to your mission and you date your vision. Like, what you want to do doesn't change. How you do it changes over the years. And I've kind of realized that all of those are susceptible to change. Our mission has changed as of late because we realized that our original mission has adapted a little bit, but so are some of our core values. So like one of our core values the last 4 years was parachute builders. I literally told people when they're onboarded, like, we're going to give you all the resources, all the training, and then we're going to push you out of the plane and you're going to build the parachute on the way down. Like, this business is growing so fast. You have to take risk. You have to take action. You're going to lose a little bit of money, and that's okay. But like, you need to do and act. We're not going to lose from inaction. And so building the parachute on the way down has always been like a really big part of our company. And we actually just took that value out. And so we've changed mindsets a little bit in our company. To grow to 200 transactions a year, we had to innovate and grow. We had no systems. Like, we had to do those things. Now that we're at 200 a year, it's more like, how do we tweak and measure and innovate those little things and start to move from a game of miles to inches and just get 1% better? And so values and mindsets, some of those things have changed over the years. What was super necessary in the beginning, different things are necessary now. And huge leadership change. We've hired a bunch of coaches to work on my staff, mostly myself, so because it trickles down. But we have like 3 or 4 leadership coaches that are coaching myself or members of our team right now, because Sharper came straight up, said, like, your guys' systems and processes are really good. What will keep you guys from getting to the next level is leadership. And we took them seriously, and we're like, okay, we're going to invest heavily into it. And it's done really well for us I think they told us that 4 months ago, maybe. And we just dove first into the coaching and curriculum for our staff and training and stuff. And it's been awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how big is your team now that you're working on really making money through leadership rather than the actual skills of doing real estate deals?
Totally. I think we just hired our 19th person who starts in a week or two, social media manager. But,
oh, cool.
Yeah. And then we have one more hire we're probably going to make in the coming weeks. So it'll be at like 20. Do
you remember what the first few sequences of hiring was for you?
Yep. I hired a guy named AJ. He is amazing. He's a rock star. Still with us today. He was our first employee. And he was kind of a jack of all trades at that point. He would do Dispo, TC. I think he actually answered some phone calls. So he pretty much left me to do ACK. Like, I would just like, dude, book me appointments. I'll lock up contracts. You do everything else.
Yeah.
Then we hired a VA to kind of do some admin tasks. And then I hired my sister-in-law to do cold calling for realtors. That did not work.
Oh, it didn't?
Cold calling didn't work. Crazy. Yeah. We tried her in multiple different roles to like make it work as an outbound sales. In the climate, I mean, this is 2020. Dude, realtors, would list anything and it'd go for 50,000 over asking price. Why did they need to talk to an investor that could buy it at a discount? Like, just didn't make sense. So, and then I think the very next hire after that was in acquisitions. I don't enjoy acquisitions. I was good at it. I don't enjoy it at all. And so I wanted to step out of that role to hire somebody that could do an even better job than me. And all those people are still with us today. They're awesome.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you looking forward to this year now that you've gotten to, a pretty sustainable business, it seems like?
Yeah.
And you're taking a step back, focusing on leadership.
I'm really, really looking forward to investing in our leadership. Like, that's honestly the thing I'm most excited for this year.
What does that mean, I guess? Can you be more specific with what you're learning there?
Yeah. So, like, for instance, this is the first collective genius that I'm actually bringing members of my staff to. And so I have my operations manager and our sales manager, Priscilla, our second employee, is actually our sales manager now. But I'm bringing down I'm pouring money and time into investing into them. So they each have their own coaches that they work with that help them in their leadership roles. Mm-hmm. And then I have a coach that I work with that he'll come in and do coaching. I do weekly coaching with him, and then he'll come in and I'll actually have, we call them E-team meetings, our executive team. And all three of us, he'll coach all of us. And crazy as it sounds, man, one of the biggest things that we lacked on was communication. Just, I didn't like having hard conversations with people. I was more just like silent treatment, and then you can tell I'm really mad at you, and I was very unapproachable. And so I've been working on that a ton, and that's trickled down massively to our team.
How do you do a hard conversation? Do you have like a format or a formula?
Yeah, he's given us a kind of a really good framework, and it sounds so dang simple, and it's basically just telling the truth in a way that comes across really well. And so you kind of invite people into the conversation. If I was going to have it with you, I'd say, hey, David, can we have kind of a hard conversation? And I want to even preface that we have gotten to a point in our leadership where we actually, with our staff now, when we onboard staff, we ask them, hey, we have tough conversations early and often, knowing that these things are going to happen. How do you best respond, or how can I best approach a tough conversation with you? So we actually like get their buy-in, because some people are like, well, don't do it in front of a group. It just, they tell you how they want to be responded to in that way. And so we try and tailor in as much as we can the conversations to the individuals that have given us the permission to lead with that. Mm-hmm. And then like a tough conversation I had with somebody 3 months ago is basically like, hey, there's kind of a framework you talk them through that's like, you're open and honest that you're frustrated, and you share like, I'm not looking to rehash these things, but like, these things have happened and it's just caused some frustrations. Like, can we talk about this? Because I want to know how we move forward so that we both can grow in this. And so you kind of get their buy-in in that. And then once you say, these things have happened, you kind of get their input on them. Like, am I wrong on that? Or like, what did you see when that happened? How did you feel when these things happened? Yeah. And you get to know, because something I might have thought was like a 9 out of 10, they think it's like a 2 out of 10. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, I want to make sure we're on the same page with what happened. And then it's like, if nothing changes, where do we see this going? Mm-hmm. And you kind of get them to think almost like you're talking to a seller, like, man, if you don't sell this house, what's going to happen? You're getting them to think about a negative future. And then when they're like, wow, if nothing, let's say with our communication or our organization or our leadership changes, in 6 months, this is probably what the result's going to be. And you get them to tell you that. Yeah. And so when they come up with their own answer, all of a sudden it's like, okay, knowing that if nothing changes in 6 months, you just told me you see this as a probable outcome, and this is where we want to be. These are the maybe characteristics or traits or things. What is it going to take to get us there? And you let them answer the question. Like, none of the leadership that I am being taught is about giving people answers. It's about drawing it out of them. Yeah. And then you get their buy-in, and it is 100 times more effective than any other leadership style that I have done so far. And so we're bought. It's just
that's awesome. Great stuff. Any books that you would recommend on those topics? If not, it's no big deal.
It comes from my
leadership.
Like it's coming
from your coach.
Like, we've read a lot of, I think some of this is modeled in Crucial Conversations. We're actually going to go through that as an office this year. But a lot of it is coming from my coach, who's done it through trial and error. Yep. And I think it's a hodgepodge of a bunch of different books, because though I say we're heavily investing in leadership now, for the last 4 years, I've known I'm not the best leader. And I probably read 4 or 5 purely leadership books a year on it. And not a single one of them has really like addressed this framework for tough conversations.
Leadership is like a big pie in the sky idea, but this is like very specific.
Yeah, it's tactical.
And it's good for everything. It's good for your wife, girlfriend, kids, any type of tough conversation. Roommates, it's not even just for at work. It's actually really useful for any type of relationship.
100%. We have 3 young kids. We had 3 kids in like a year and a half. So they're all together and they're all fighting all the time. And like just going up to my kids and being like, hey, Sonny, what did you hear Daddy say? And he's like, that I should be getting dressed. And it's like, what do you think you should be doing right now? Getting dressed? Like, I'm not that helicopter parent. Like, you need to get dressed. You need to get dressed. I am a lot, but like I'm trying to get better at asking questions, and we're seeing a lot better results because of it. So,
hey, I really loved how you asked me a couple weeks ago if I could find double lots.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Your answer
what made you
was
think
crazy.
of that, by the way?
We've just have had a lot of success with. And it's not by seeking double lots intentionally. We've had a lot of success with sellers calling us through our organic marketing channels. We're already doing TV, radio, PPC, stuff like that. And then come to find out that like they own a house and there's an extra lot on this house. And we're at a point to where if we can break even on the house and get an $80,000 to $100,000 lot, that's like making an 80 to 100 grand flip in the house. And so we like to buy houses that we can either make a little bit of money on or break even. And then we split off the lot and we either build a duplex on it or we just flip it.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've only built 1 duplex. We've flipped some of the lots, but like it's really profitable. Like our average flip isn't $80,000 to $100,000, but when we do this, it's a good chunk. So
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed the challenge. It took me 10 days, but I got there.
Yeah. Well, and your answer was awesome. Like when I was like, duh, that makes so much sense. But like your guys' software is what allowed us to do that. You can't just go on our county assessor website or something. I mean, it's difficult. So,
well, is there anything else data-wise that you think might be nice to have or has been an issue before? Or
land is always kind of an issue for us. Yeah. And I don't know that there's one data person out there that can solve it because a lot of the issues come down to crappy coding at a county level. They put in the wrong zoning or they just fat finger, oh, it's a 0.3 acre parcel. Well, no, this is actually 3.0 acre, just dumb stuff like that. There doesn't seem to be, like for houses all day long, you can get DealMachines, the property radars, prop streams, all those services. There doesn't seem to be a super dialed in one for land where you can be like, show me every double lot that's zoned high density residential in this zip code that's been owned for 5 years. Like just harder data to pull. It's not as clean, we found. Okay. Like I can go and pull an absentee owner list or high equity, whatever, in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It takes 3 months for me to pull data and scrub it, mail, find out what we did wrong, re-cleanse the data for land. It's wonky.
Okay. Anything else like that that's difficult about land?
It would also, and again, this is one of those things that like being able to say, hey, only show me land that has sewer within 100 feet. Like there's just, that doesn't have wetlands by it. I mean, it's pretty hard and kind of subjective. Like what one county might call wetlands, the next one doesn't. And it's just weird.
Well, cool. Yeah. I would say, what are you hoping to learn from this trip that you're taking, right? Pretty far away from where you live and invest.
Yeah.
What makes you spend money and time to come do this?
I think every single one of our vendors that we currently use or have used in the past, most of them I've met here. Our consulting company, I met here. The conversations I have with people here have made us stupid amounts of money. What I'm really hoping to learn this time, like I said, it's the first trip where I'm actually bringing staff down here. And I'm hoping to see what they learn. Like, not that I mean, I've been in CG for 3 years. I am always going to learn new stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember the first couple, it was like, how do I contain this information? And I'm excited to see that in them.
Because then you don't have to relay it to them. They experience 100%. It themselves and implement it without you even being involved.
Exactly. And there's 3 rooms we can sit in. I can't sit in 3 rooms at a time. And we can go in the cocktail thing afterwards or dinner and just be like, what are we going to implement? Like, what did you take away from your room? What did you take away from your room? It's the power of 3 brains instead of 1, like it. And they're much smarter than I am. So
what would you be doing now if you weren't doing real estate investing?
Prior to real estate investing, I owned a janitorial company. And so I would be doing...
Oh, just like Aaron Swart.
Did he do that too?
He was a janitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Josh Swart?
Oh, you're right. They're brothers. I was talking about Josh.
Okay. Yeah. It might be Aaron too. There might have been multiple of them.
No, they're brothers, and they're
Okay.
both DealMachine members.
Oh, sweet.
But it's Josh who was the
Yeah.
janitor.
Yeah. He's an awesome dude. Josh Short's an amazing guy. I would hope I wouldn't be cleaning toilets. I probably would have formed another company. Real estate is just, I love it, man. There's nothing else I would rather do. Professional fly fishing doesn't pay the bills, things like that. So it'd have to be real estate. I don't know what I'd be doing if it wasn't real estate.
What would you say to somebody who is not wanting to invest in real estate because the interest rates are too high?
Keep not investing in real estate, because the people who are, like myself, are greatly profiting off of that.
How are you able to profit without limitations of the interest rates?
Yeah, interest rates have never really affected us. To anybody who uses that as an excuse to not invest, do your homework. If you buy a house 50, 60 cents on the dollar, does it matter what the interest rate is?
Mm-hmm.
No. Like if you're going to wholesale it to somebody, if you're going to flip it, sell it for 30 grand below what it's worth on the MLS. It'll be the first house that sells.
Mm-hmm.
If you're buying it right, you can sell it cheap still and make tons of money.
What would you say to somebody who looks at prices 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and they say, oh, well, it's just too late to invest in real estate. Those deals that you bought, those deals don't exist anymore.
I'll do over 200 deals this year that will prove that theory wrong. I'm not saying that from a point of pride. It's just they don't know what they don't know. Like those deals are all over. You just have to know what to look for.
Yeah.
That land deal on the river, we literally were like, this is a dead deal. Like we can't do anything. It's too rural. That's like a $300,000 profit because we didn't know what we were looking at.
Yeah.
They're all over. You just have to know what you're looking for.
Could you would you be open to sharing one of your like lowest lows that you've experienced?
Yeah. Lowest lows would be like we lost 250,000 on properties last year that were holdovers from 22 that we bought. Most of them had squatters. Took a year to get them out. They trashed the properties, went down in value. Those aren't really the lows. Those are kind of like, okay, let's get back in the ring. Like it sucks losing that much money, but we also made a lot of money. So like those were learning lessons. The lows for me, there's not a lot of them, man. It has been such an amazing business. I have an unbelievable team. You know what? Something that has actually been harder than I thought it would be is local people that are jealous of what you're doing and talk smack behind your back. Like, it's not a big deal, but like we've caught people on podcasts lying about things our company did, and they apologize and things like that when we called them out. But it's just like, why? Why do you have to do that?
You mean competitors?
Yeah. Like saying like we had a competitor on a podcast say that they didn't name our company, but they're like, yeah, our competitor in town, we're the only other competitor in town that like does volume. They're like, we tracked their deals and they only closed 40% of their deals last quarter. And I was like, what are you talking about? Our closing rate is 85%. Like, and I pulled it down. I'm like, no, we closed 85% of those. And it's just dumb stuff like that. Like 4 people saw his podcast. I don't care about that. It's the fact that people will knowingly lie just to make themselves look better when like we run the most reputable company in our area by a long shot. It's just like, why do you have to run a company like that? It's people that like I've gone out to lunch with, and like I would kind of consider that like we have a business relationship, though I wasn't like good friends with them. And I'm like, it just feels wrong, man. It's not the way I do business, and it's yucky.
It's actually somebody that you had some form of a relationship with. Mm-hmm. So it feels like a betrayal.
Yeah.
Or it feels like, oh man, I thought we were good, you know? And you are competitors, so there's a competitive aspect. But for me, there's a whole nother level when they're just saying something completely different when you're not around. Yeah. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah. There's a photo I saw on Facebook probably like a month ago, and it's David Phelps. Was that the swimmer? Or Michael Phelps? Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
You're David. It's Michael Phelps, and he's like this far from touching the wall winning. And there's a guy a little bit behind him, and Michael Phelps' eyes are just on the wall. And there's a guy the next lane next to him, and he's looking over at Michael. And the caption said like, winners focus on winning, losers focus on those who are winning. And I was like, man, that was great. And it happened around the same time. And I was just like, they're just focused on the winning, which was our company at the time. So, but yeah.
Well, on the flip side, could you tell us about one of your highest highs, something that just made you feel incredibly proud?
We have had so much growth in our leadership team the last few months. It's just been It's been really cool to see. I was kind of telling my leadership coach, I'm like, dude, I'm not getting as much opportunity as I wanted to have challenging conversations where we're helping people grow, because my team is having those for me, which is like honestly what I wanted, but I still want the practice. But there's just been so many conversations the last few months where I hear about it after it's taken place. And I get to go up to my team and be like, you guys are amazing. Like, you didn't even need coaching through that.
Yeah.
And you handled that situation far better than I probably ever would have. And seeing that growth in other people is just amazing. Like, I'm really plugged into a church in our area, and they talk about, like, we want to make disciples who make disciples. You don't just make a disciple, you make a disciple who then can make disciples.
Right.
And it's a very similar concept that we're finding in coaching. Like, I don't want to create a leader. I want to make a leader who is able to raise up other leaders.
Yeah.
Who can raise up other leaders. And it just goes, it's like this Russian doll syndrome. But yeah, it's been amazing to watch. It's so fun to watch them grow. And
That's
our
really
company, last January, February, I think we did like 12 and 14 contracts each month. This January and February, and we haven't changed our marketing budget, we did like 27 and 33.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, so like
that's like free money.
Dude, just the
Right?
leadership
No other
team, like
marketing
knowing
expense.
how to lead
Yeah.
the company is just exploding the company. It's fantastic. That's a proud moment. And another proud moment is that, like, our whole team has a work-life balance. That's not uber common in our industry, especially with like commission people, but like everyone works 40 hours a week by and large. Somebody might push the scales a little bit to 45 sometimes, but like, we all have families and kids, and we all get to go home to our kids at 5. Like,
Yeah.
And I tell people that when I hire them, I'm like, leave your work at 5 in the office. You have a family, go home to them.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've been able to maintain that balance with the growth has been amazing.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super happy that you took time to share this with me and others who are going to watch this.
Yeah.
And I'm also super inspired by the leadership journey that you're on. I mean, that was
Thanks, man.
super obvious. It came up multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's not only yourself, but others that you're able to provide you're funneling in your resources to develop that person as a person, right?
Yeah.
It's great. Even if they're not at your company, hopefully they will be.
Yeah.
But that's an impact that's going to like last and carry on and affect others too.
Totally. I remember
Super inspiring.
Eric Brewer, this is probably like 2 years ago, I heard him say something. He was on stage at Collective Genius, and he said, I had a guy come up to me and he's like, aren't you worried about investing all this money into your team and then they just leave?
Yeah, but what happens if you don't and they stay?
Yeah. And he's like, what if you don't pour that into them and then they stay? Like, where's your company? And that's just something that always stuck with me. Like, you have to raise those people up. Why would you want to work for somebody who's not investing into you? Like, That's crazy. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.